Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. The true cost of retiring early, of reaching financial freedom. I've seen several videos on this over a long period of time, and usually they start with the first 5 years suck. Like the real cost is you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. Sometimes we talk about those first 5 years being so bad. There are people who say, well, I'll just not do it then. It doesn't sound like it's worth it. And reaching financial freedom and retiring early is worth it, but you should know the true cost. And so the first thing is people will talk about those first 5 years sucking and having to go through it, because I end a lot of my videos with, you're going to be alive in 5 years. You should start investing like it, because those 5 years are going to happen one way or the other. It's going to happen no matter what. So yeah, they could suck, but the next 50 could either be amazing or they could suck just like the first 5 did. So understand that's a part of it. The first 2 years are not going to be fun. What is the true cost of retiring early or reaching financial independence? What is the real cost? Evolves from, yeah, you got to put in some years that are not good. You have to put in the time. It evolves to money. What is the actual cost of retiring early? And this, you can actually break it down. You can do math equations, and I'm not a stock guy, so I'm probably going to butcher this. If you want to invest in stocks and reach financial freedom, you should be watching Joe Kuhn, Kuhn, here on YouTube. That's how he did it. And so I won't pretend to know anything about stocks, but I've heard the math equations where you have the 4% rule, which takes 25 times it's either annual income or annual living expenses, depending on who you're talking to. Once you've saved up or invested that amount, you can retire on the 4% rule. 4% of that would give you the standard annual growth rate of 10% in stocks to cover taxes, to cover normal inflation, to cover the 4% you're taking up. You can actually go, this is the cost of financial freedom. If I want to spend this much every year, I need to save up and invest 25 times that. And then you can factor in compound interest from when you started investing to what you have now. In real estate, I can break down. I chose real estate for a couple of reasons. I've been several videos on that. Not that one is better than the other or worse than the other. I chose real estate, and in over 12 years, I invested. And in the 8 years to reach financial freedom, to make work optional when I could have retired, and then I worked 4 more years and got several videos on why I did that. I invested $320,000 from my W-2 job, which wasn't easy in the beginning. I was making $17 an hour. I was a single parent with 3 kids. Found out about $89,000 in bad debt I didn't know about until the divorce. Got laid off from law enforcement, right? So not a good starting position, but working overtime, working a side hustle, climbing the corporate ladder, adding cash flowing assets, not increasing my living expenses, culminated in $320,000 from my W-2 job being saved in those years. And then about $300,000 in rents that I never used on myself. I continuously reinvested them in growing the portfolio. So I can actually say the cost of financial freedom for me was about $620,000, right? $320,000 from my job, $300,000 from rents to make work optional. It has a physical cost. It has a time cost. What I want to help you understand is the cost of financial freedom. Because there's a big difference between price and cost, right? The price of a car might be $30,000, but the cost of a car is $30,000. Tax, maintenance, registration, insurance, right? The cost of owning a car is much more than the price. The price of financial freedom is the years it takes to invest. It's the money that it takes that you had to earn to invest, to put to work so that you don't have to. So that's the price. But what's the cost of financial freedom? What's the cost of making work optional? And I'll kind of do it and reverse engineer it. So I reached financial freedom and I retired in 2022 from a job that I liked after 12 years of investing. Walked away from golden handcuffs, and I have been retired now for a little over 2 years. I can tell you it's absolutely worth it. It's worth the years that are going to suck, because those years are going to happen anyway. It is worth the money that you invest to put to work so you don't have to. It is worth all of the downsides to saving and investing that people talk about. But in financial freedom, being retired, I want to explain it in backwards so you understand this. You become an outsider, right? I'm not dictated by a schedule. When I text my friends, I have to think, is it 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning? Because they might not be awake when I'm awake. Is it a Thursday or a Sunday because they might be working today, they might have today off? Is it New Year's Eve? Or is it any random Tuesday of these 150 in a row without missing one that I've done a live stream on every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific to answer your questions, which I'm hoping you get into the chat so that I can answer them on how to reach financial freedom. I'm so much of an outsider that I don't realize that with a net worth in the multiple millions and cash flow of hundreds of thousands a year, right? So it's 21,000 or so in pure profit every month, so equals a couple 100,000 to just go and spend and do whatever. That sometimes I'll walk into a place wearing clothes that look like I'm homeless because I just don't care what I look like. I'm an outsider. I don't have to impress a boss. I don't have to worry about what people think about me. I don't have to care what country I'm going to spend the next few months in. You're an outsider because you're financially free. You're not. You've taken off. You've put on the they live glasses. You see the world for what it is. You see that most people are trapped in their job. They're trapped in a schedule. They're trapped in a time of day. They're trapped in a day of the week. Is it a weekend? Is it a holiday? And you're not. So I can relate to people because I was in the rat race. I was trapped for 52 years, like everyone else. But not today. And I reached financial freedom, made work optional, and can now do whatever I want pretty much every day. Most people can't relate to me because the idea of financial freedom to some is repulsive. Right? No one should have more money than they do. Anybody who has more money had to do something pretty skeevy to get it. I've got friends. Oh, if I didn't have a job, I don't know what I'd do with all my time. There is a whole big world out here that you could do all kinds of things with that you can't think of because you spend 10 to 12 hours a day working. You get home, you're exhausted. You have a few hours to do something and you think, oh, the idea of traveling to another country just seems like a lot of work. But when you have years and the couple of days travel to get somewhere means nothing because you can spend months and months wherever you want, it's hard to relate to. So the first, it's hard to relate to the fact that it's possible. Second, it's really hard to relate to that it happened, right? That somebody was able to do the other thing that makes you an outsider in the beginning. So this is the part where most of the people who watch my videos are going to be. This is where you're an outsider long before you reach financial freedom. You're going to have friends who will say things like, most of us, us in our water seeks its own level, people working the same type of jobs are buying RVs or trucks to tow the RVs, or we're taking annual vacations so we have stories to tell each other, or we're going out on the weekend to unwind from work. And it's only going to cost $150 with your food and your drinks every week. You're going to have people that will complain that you're always working. They'll say, Ryan, why are you always working? You're either working on your job or you're working on your side hustle or you're traveling to work on something that you're buying. You're always doing something. Like it's a bad thing. You're going to have people say it's too risky. You work so hard for all of the money that you have and you're going to risk it on an investment? Did you know the stock market's a bubble and it's going to crash? Completely ignoring the fact that inflation is making stocks cost more, not the fact that the stocks are worth more. Or real estate's in a bubble because it got expensive before and it crashed, so it has to crash again. Why would you risk your money? So saving is bad because you're not buying the RV, you're not taking the annual vacations, you're not going out on the weekends, you're not buying a new car, you're not rewarding yourself, you're driving that old clunker or two of them so that one of them works well enough to get you to work. You're going to be complaining about your life. You want to get a promotion at work? Are you a bootlicker? We work for the man and they don't pay us enough. Well, maybe if you worked harder and we got that promotion, they'd pay us more. You want to change jobs because there might be more money in a new job at a different company? You're going to lose your office friends, your coworkers, your work family for more money? You move? You pull a Josh and Mary? You go from California to Washington so you can get new jobs or move your job, work remote, and go where the numbers work on investments and buy a duplex, house hack one side, rent out the other, cut your living expenses in half so you can save for that next property. You're going to have friends and family that say, you moved away from us. Why would you do that? Kind of relate becoming an outsider to, let's say you have a bad habit. You drink. You, that's really hard to not take a drink right now. You do drugs. You commit crimes. It could be street racing. It could be any kind of thing that you do with your group of friends that just seems normal. And one day you decide, okay, I don't think these drugs or this alcohol is helping me, and I'm going to cut it out. You will have some real friends who have the same issues who will support you. And so that's amazing. Cool. So let's not go out on the weekends when I normally tend to drink, but you and me, let's go out during the week and do something else that isn't alcohol involved. So they'll be supportive. But most of the people who have the drugs, alcohol, or crime habits will feel like you're trying to become better than them because you're trying to eliminate something that's not good for your life. They will peer pressure you into having that same habit. Work isn't much different. You'll have people that talk about their new car and can't believe you drive the old one. You'll have people that talk about their vacations and say, I can't believe you don't go on at least one trip a year. Heck, we're doing two. You'll have people that say, we have these RVs, $130,000 RV, $100,000 truck to pull it, and we go out every weekend. And Dion, you only show up on a Saturday for like 3 or 4 hours, and then you take off. You're not in this circle. You become an outsider just because you want to reach financial freedom and you want to lose the addiction, like alcohol, drugs, and crime, that a job is. It's how I identify myself. It's how I fill my time. It's my work family. The true cost isn't the price. It's not the time you put in. It's not the 5 years of suck. It's not the money that it takes to put to work to make it to where you don't have to work for money because all of your expenses are replaced and covered by a multiple of what you need. That's the price. The cost is you're going to be an outsider. You're going to be an outsider the whole time you're reaching financial freedom. You're going to be judged. You're going to be, I don't want to say pariah, become a pariah. You're not going to get ostracized, but you're going to have people complain about you doing things that are just bettering your life. You need to cut out the noise. You need to know that that's just the cost you're willing to pay to reach financial freedom, to make work optional. You can still work. You can still fill your time because you have absolutely no imagination to be able to fill your time with all of the things there are to do on the planet that none of us will ever have enough time to do everything there is. I hope you understand that it's worth it, that there is a cost in time, there is a cost in effort, right? The extra work, the willpower to reduce the extra spending, the peer pressure that you can avoid, right? You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.